Good morning, fellow Malaysians. This is Matthias Chang once again from Future Fast Forward. I'm compelled to make this video so soon after my last video last week because of two main issues. One, about the coup d'etat that was supposed to have happened last week, and also the consequences of the Rantau by-election. But first of all, I want to share with you a quotation which has been my guide in all my political actions, directly or indirectly. May I share this with you first? It's from the great sage Milarepa. See demons as demons, there is a danger. Know they are powerless, that is the way. Understand them for what they are, that is deliverance. Recognize them as your mother and father, that is their end. Realize that they are creations of the mind, they become its glory. When these truths are known, all is liberation. Right? I want you to think deeply on this quotation. For it's not as simple as you think, because it will address how one should focus on issues and what is, especially in politics, like how we strategize to confront the so-called powerful demons in politics. I will elaborate more as I go through my speech this morning. Now, last week, sometime on the 7th of April 2019, and I addressed before to this issue in my last video, the foreign minister in the Malay Mail was reported as saying there was a coup d'etat attempt by the deep state. Okay, and it's very strong words. Right, he said, if I may quote, the cabinet's reversal of its ratification of the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, ICC, was a political move done for fear of coup d'etat attempt spurred on by powers behind the scene. A quotation by Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah. The foreign minister pointed out history has shown that a coup d'etat is a common reaction to the democratic advancements, and the public rising up following election is usually instigated by the deep state, and on and on and on. One would have thought that such an attempt against the unlawful, treasonous toppling or a coup against the Prime Minister Tun Mahathir, as opposed to the entire government, would demand an outcry across the entire political divide. But there was silence. So that made me think something is at odds. Why has the entire political establishment, as well as the mass media, remained silent? Now we must compare to what the Star newspaper and other mainstream media reported on November the 28th, 2018, soon after the horrendous chaos from the temple in Subang Jaya. Here you have, and I'll ask for you, right, a article by the, I believe it's the Star newspaper, okay? All right? It calls for, and has reported, a bipartisan emergency motion to be debated in Parliament. All right? This is as evidence. Now let me read to you. That is, all right, although it's a very serious issue that gives rise to racial incitement and chaos, but immediately both sides of the political divide considered fit and proper to submit an emergency motion before Parliament. May I read to you? Star, Wednesday, November 28, 2018. Lawmakers are united for peace and calling for an emergency motion to debate the fiasco involving the Seafield Sri Maha Mariam Temple. Both Barisan Nasional and Pakatan Harapan lawmakers have put aside their political differences and submitted a motion to Speaker Datuk Muhammad Arif Muhammad Yusof for the issue to be brought up for debate in the current Parliament session, said Lambah Pantai MP Fahmi Fadzil. We stand here in solidarity as we believe, we need to come together to discuss the issue in a harmonious manner and move forward, he told reporters during a joint press conference at Parliament yesterday. Fahmi, who's from PKR, said Muhammad Arif had agreed to consider the motions and would allocate time tomorrow for debate to take place. And of course, we had this statement from the infamous MP Tan Sri Nur Omar, who said that all Malaysians needed to unite and remain harmonious to avoid chaos and clashes. And he was good at saying, let's not have provocative elements adding fuel to the flames. If it burns out of control, everybody will be hurt, said Tanjung Karang MP. And Bukit Gelago MP Ram Kapal said the authorities should take action against instigators who are bent on fueling racial flames. We must remain calm in such a situation as is our priority, he said. So given this, a lesser national security threat that happened late last year, why, when there is an allegation, or rather assertion, not allegation, of a coup d'etat against Tun M by the deep state, when Parliament continued sitting, no one from Pakatan Harapan and no one from the opposition deemed it fit the urgency of an emergency motion before Parliament to debate, and they expose who were the people behind the coup d'etat and demand an investigation. Surprisingly also, no police report has been filed with the police to investigate. But in the past, on nonsensical issues of someone citing, a speech or a press statement inciting Muslim clashes, interfaith clashes, whatever, a police report has been launched. And the police immediately take action, arrest them, and press charges. But here, a plot, a coup d'etat, yet no action has been taken. No police report, no emergency motion. Why? I would have expected Tun Mahathir to also police report because he's the victim. There could be a conflict. But I expect that at the minimum, the MPs of Pakatan Harapan or the leaders of DAP, PKR, Amanat Bersatu to say this is the most treasonous and most dastardly act. And if, as has been referred to, that some royals were involved, surely this matter, together with the consent of the Attorney General, be investigated, and there's substantial evidence to support a prosecution. The matter must be brought before the special court as allowed by Article 182 to 183 of the Constitution. Silence. Now this is very dangerous because it gives rise to a misunderstanding or perception that the government is fearful of those parties who have planned for the coup d'etat. Never in the history of our country has a government openly stated that they knew of a coup planned to be executed, and as a result was compelled not to ratify an international treaty. Now, the foreign minister on March 4th has ratified the Rome Statute. From March 4th to April 6th, 7th, silence. There was no coverage in the mass media as far as I know. If there was any, it was not on the headlines or the front page. Then all of a sudden, all right, there was a hue and cry, and then withdrawal. Quite like the ISIL situation last year. So, to my fellow citizens, I think we should demand, both from the government as well as the opposition, to come clean as to what is going on. Because it will embolden the planners, the coup plotters, to maybe embark on a third attempt to create chaos and thereby lay the basis for a coup or for whatever they have planned in advance. This is atrocious. I would have thought, Anwar Ibrahim, the PM in waiting to take firm action. Because if such a plan has been afoot against a very powerful leader, in the person of Tun Mahathir, what more if he should come into power, Anwar, a lesser being, what will happen? Surely it's his interest to investigate who is behind the coup. A coup against the Pakatan Harapan government. Now, for a long time, since the victory of the Pakatan Harapan government on May 9th, I've been very critical and entirely entitled to do so of the activities, the policies of the Pakatan Harapan. And during the early months of 2018, May 2018 and thereafter, many people have slandered, libeled me with all kinds of allegations. And I couldn't be bothered because I know for a fact that ultimately what I say and what I do will be testimony that I was right. And thus far, I can say without any fear of contradiction that all my forecasts, my analysis has come true. But there was a vicious campaign by the propaganda boys, I believe, from the government side, that Matthias has criticized the British government or Tun Mahathir because he was sour grapes. He wasn't off a job in administration. But all those who know me will know that the furthest of my mind is to get back into politics. And I witnessed to the fact before the election that my family paid a very heavy price for my incarceration as a terrorist in Sungai Buloh. That I've done my duty and sacrifice for the country. Therefore, as a citizen, it's my duty to highlight what's going on. Even though I was maybe the first to lead a campaign to shake up the Pakatan Harapan, soon there were many critics of the Pakatan Harapan government and warned them repeatedly they are on the wrong path. Now, before I go on, let me be very clear to all of you. During Najib's time, all of you say that you can't do anything or say anything because you fear the power of the Najib government. You fear the draconian measures that will be taken. And you said you have families, businesses, choo-choo and children to look after. Therefore, you will not dare take the risk. As if I don't have a family, I don't have business, I don't have choo-choo and children. Now that we have thrown out this criminal bunch of rapists, fashion rapists, money launderers, and we have a Pakatan Harapan government. They are not shown to be tyrants as Najib, right? Or abuse the law as Najib done. Yet, when things go wrong, they have not lifted a finger. And many of them have come to see me and they complain and complain and complain about the Pakatan Harapan. So therefore, I will address shortly to Tun Mahathir personally, as well as to all the MPs who wish that Malaysia can move forward on a better trajectory. This is this. Let me say to all of you, what I say, my criticisms is not of my own, but a consensus of the views and opinions and frustrations of the Rakyat. Otherwise, you could have lost 3 by-elections. And after each election, what do you say? We must go down to the ground. We must solve their problems. We hear you, Rakyat. In the Semaya election, what happens? Kit Siang, Anwar, all says, right? We must take stock. We must revamp. We must change. This is critical for the future of Pakatan Harapan. But yet, you repeat the same mistakes. Same arrogance has been displayed. And yet, after each defeat, you've learned nothing. Nothing. So, I'm going to be very blunt, okay? Alright? This is nothing personal between me and Tun Mahathir or with Anwar Ibrahim. Now, I'm going to show you a letter written by Tun Mahathir to show to you and to force you understand the relationship between Tun Mahathir and myself all these years. It's not changed. Alright? But if you want to continue babbling and giving this false propaganda, I can't be bothered. But for those good people out there in Malaysia who supports me and wants me to continue my criticisms, constructive criticism of that, then maybe by reading this letter, you understand what has gone on between Tun and me and will go on in the future, because we have an understanding. As I said before, nothing personal. And therefore, first of all, we'll show to you a book which I've written. Okay? This is the cover of the book which I've written upon my hunger strike and incarceration in the Kajang prison. Alright? Prison of conscience. My IC in the Kajang prison is 100-1951. Maybe you want to buy 4 digits, right, and win some money. Anyway. In that book, I enclosed a letter from Tun Mahathir to me, which I will not read, but will show to you, which will show the kind of relationship between Tun Mahathir and I. It's a letter dated April 2010, on my 8th day of hunger strike. Hope you can read it. Now you read the letter, it speaks for itself. There is a kind of relationship I had with Tun Mahathir then. I do not believe anything has changed. Because he knows me, that I will not compromise on my principles. I'm willing to go to jail or even to die for my principles. And during the Sungai Buloh incarceration, I also had my experience of hunger strike. And before that, I issued a challenge to Najib. I dare you to join me in hunger strike. And whoever dies in the course of the hunger strike means that Allah has shown that that man, that person is a liar. Whoever survives means he has upheld the truth and his principles. After 7 days of hunger strike, I was persuaded by none other than the officials, the wardens of the Sungai Buloh prison, who told me, Matthias, what have you to lose? You have won. You said that you will go on a hunger strike for 7 days at the minimum. If you survive, that means Allah is with you. Najib Razak didn't have the balls to take on a challenge. You proved your point. Allah with you. And in the Sungai Buloh prison, in the midst of all this advised, I stopped my hunger strike. Because I've proven my point. Why I'm saying this to all of you is this. It's so easy to talk, to criticize, but very difficult to walk the talk. And I've proven throughout my life, since I was 16 years old as a student activist till now, I've tried my utmost to walk the talk. Why? Because of the quotation which I've just shown to you. If you see everyone, power, the most powerful, as demons, all powerful, then you fear danger. You become a coward. But if you know that they are powerless, then your attitude change. If you understand what they are, or rotten to the core, then you have deliverance. If you recognize what they are, not as a threat, then it's the end of the intimidation. Alright, the attempt to enslave. And then if you think, you realize that it's your mind that creates all these fears, then you win the battle. That's how I approach my political work. Given that, sometimes you ask yourself, right? Why are the people in power behaving as if, right, they're surrounded by demons? They're inactive. They are like zombies. And for the last few months, let's focus on ISIS situation, the Roman statue situation, and the temple in Sumanjai situation. Who is controlling the narrative? Clearly, the narrative, the propaganda was and is controlled by UMNO and PAS. Because the issue they focus on is they are the champions for race, religion, and royalty. Defend the royalty, defend agama, defend the Malay privileges, and what have you. As if the constitution need any defending. When so clear cut, they are the numbskulls, the scumbags, the criminal elements. And yet, we are reacting, rather, Pakatan Harapan leaders are reacting to that narrative, as opposed to controlling the narrative. Otherwise, how do you explain having thrown out, removed constitutionally a numbskull leader, a financial rapist, a criminal like Najib, and all his entourage? Whenever a charge has been issued, what do? They rush to IGN and say they have heart problems. They fly to Mecca for Umrah. That's how they behave. They get shit as if flying to Mecca will absorb the criminality. This is the kind of leaders we had. Malay leaders essentially have betrayed the Malay community in particular and our country in general. I repeat, to all my Malay friends, young and old, for heaven's sake, realize you have been betrayed by your own Malay Muslim leaders. Period. Okay? Now yet, you have young people and old people voting for UMNO and BN. Why? Because the narrative is that of PAS and UMNO. That narrative is also hijacked by certain royals who always insist that if we rectify the Rome Statute, it will impinge or whittle down the rights of the sovereign rulers in Malaysia. You see? Fear. So we have to ask ourselves, how could UMNO and PAS get away with this stupid narrative when the facts are right in front of them? These champions are bunkums, hoodlums, purveyors of lies. Yet they get away with it. It's therefore my contention, and I hope, Anwar, will you please listen carefully? Okay? It is you, Rafizi and Nurul, the trifecta. The whole, from May 9th to now, almost a year, you have asked the whole party, British government and the people, right, to listen to your rubbish, your face in newspaper, PM in waiting, the most stupid slogan, as if everything has been focused on you. PM in waiting, the first family in waiting, the dynasty in the making. All right, your theatrics, your internal struggle, party election between Rafizi and Azmin. Everyone is fed up. The plots, the counter plots, the theatrics, and most ridiculous Malaysia Chronicle. So a mouthpiece of the opposite, of the then opposition, now the government, highlighting the internal struggle within PKR. Malaysia Chronicle. As if the whole country is bothered about your shit and your ambition. I would say, without fear of contradiction, the Rantau by-election, right, was masterminded by Anwar. And he lost, whacked with an astounding majority. And surprisingly, the last three elections are by-elections. Rafizi is not around. Invoke is not around. But for the general election, he was put as the god of elections, the mastermind. Invoke has all the systems, the computers. Now it's total silence, except the little lunch escapade with Kyrie. What is the show for? Invoke was touted as the election machinery. And with the government behind, the federal government and state government behind, the Pakatan Harapan, you lost, Anwar, you lost. Therefore, I'm going to put it very crudely, Anwar. Instead of say, you cannot, at this stage, even to demand, at the end of the second year of Tun Mahathir, to to be the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Because, one thing, in 2008, you led the campaign. You couldn't win the Malay votes or take power from the federal government. In 2013, you led the campaign. You failed to win federal power because you could not get the Malay votes. If there's a litmus test, ultimately, that you cannot command the Malay majority in this country, is undone by election. With all the machinery, all the resources, you fail. So please have the humility and the integrity to ask yourself, have I failed? No more excuses, Anwar. No more. You fail. You fail completely. Alright? Now why? I'm telling you now why, from day one, you have failed. Even after you're released from prison, you have failed. Because you have wrong strategy and wrong tactics. Same applies to your daughter Nurul and Rafizi. And the only mistake which Tun made, and I hope Tun is listening to my video, because this video is sent to your son, Murkis and Mokhzani, and other people who are close to you. I wonder whether they've informed you in the past of my video. Have you told? And this is your duty as a Prime Minister to ensure, if and when you retire before the next election, and very crudely, if you kick the bucket before the next election, there are people within the Pakatan Harapan to ensure continuity. I never asked you, Tun Mahathir, sir, have you told Anwar in his face, as a matter of principle, sorry Anwar, you're not ready to be a Prime Minister. You need to understudy how to be a leader, how to be a Prime Minister. Because you have failed. From the time I was released, everything was focused on himself. His interviews, as he was so, he was so forgiving. And every caption was, PM in waiting. And you say many times, please, rally around Tun Mahathir. I will not undermine Tun Mahathir. I give him space. Bullshit, horse shit, and cow shit in your face. The very tagline, PM in waiting, speaks volumes about your true intention in your mind. That tagline, PM in waiting, actually undermines Tun Mahathir. Because in itself, you are saying, he's a lame duck. I'm the one in waiting, I'm the one in time to be in power. Wait for me to come. And you know why you will fail? It's because your whole strategy is based on one word, entitlement. Anwar Ibrahim, Nurul, is entitled to power. Likewise, a leader before you, Tunku Razaleigh, Cooley, had the same approach to power, entitlement. That's why he lost in the power struggle with Tun Mahathir. You forgot, right, that before 1997, who brought you from power to power? Tun Mahathir. To the horror of many people in UMNO, he leapfrogged. For some strange reason, Mahathir saw something in you. And you felt that you were entitled the moment you became Deputy Prime Minister to succeed. And then you were too impatient. You plotted. And you failed. And you paid a very heavy price. Today, the same thing again. By virtue of your former Deputy Prime Minister, you're entitled. Musa Hitam was a former deputy prime minister. He's also entitled, isn't it? Muhyiddin is also entitled, am I right? What have you? But they have never ever so blatantly tell the whole country, I must be the prime minister. I'm entitled. The first family, this, first family, that. Even before the election, you know, it galls me when I talk to some of your friends, Anwar, and your advisors. The first family. What's this, what that? What Nurul wants, Nurul gets. You see, it's always about you and your family. Entitlement. Whereas, if at all you have learned anything from Tun Mahathir, when he struggled for power, he never took it as entitlement. He won the hearts and minds first of his party in UMNO. And then he makes sure that the electorate that will ensure his victory, the Malay community specifically, was with him before he took the power as Prime Minister. No entitlement. He weaved a narrative that touched hearts and minds of a target audience. But you, Anwar, you put people off. Have anybody told you in your party, hey, Anwar, that's crap. But your own people around you has betrayed you. Every one of your party leaders. Because if they are genuine, they would have told you, Anwar, that strategy is wrong. You're not entitled to anything. Alright? And then of course in Malaysian Chronicle, everyone says like, Mahathir must straight away appoint Anwar as the Deputy Prime Minister to ensure smooth succession. Why do they say that? Because they're numbskulls, they're naive. I'm telling you why it's wrong for Mahathir to do that. Let's take an example of the United States and Britain. When the president steps down, there is a primary elections among contenders to be president. They have to debate themselves. In the last election for presidents, Donald Trump has to compete 16 other senators and congressmen for the post as the nominee of the Republican Party to challenge Democrats to be president. They fight to earn the respect and the right to be nominated as the flag bearer to be president. Likewise, in England, Mother England, whenever a Prime Minister retires or loses election, the party have to elect among themselves a leader that would lead in the election. No automatic succession. No automatic. They have to win. Recently, on Brexit, right? Many people want to oust Theresa May. They among themselves, the runners, to say they want to replace Theresa May, had to convince their party they are worth the respect and the leadership role to lead after Theresa May. And before that, other people stood for contention. So you talk about democracy. Huh? Oh, we allow election democracy as a matter of democracy. Ask me and Rafizi, fight like cats and dogs. Pure theatrics, pantomime, rubbish. Oh, it's a democracy right. Rights of democracy. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Why do you say to the whole country, I, Anwar Ibrahim, from today onwards will shut up and stop lobbying to be the PM in waiting. We will not ask Mahathir to choose a successor because we will allow the coalition to determine among whoever to contend. If you allow contention in the party, in your party, for deputy president or even the president, because you said, right, all posts are for contention, but in your case, they chose not to contend for the president in respect of you, but all the other posts were contended. So what do you say? As a true upholder of the democratic principles, everyone who wants to be the next prime minister should contend and challenge one another in a democratic forum to show that they can lead the country. And then I will say, you deserve, all right, to take a place among the others that should be considered as one of the contenders to the Prime Minister of Malaysia. That is democracy. Okay? But you won't you? Because they're so full of themselves, so much shit, that all the attention of the government, all right, has been diverted. What's already for mercy? Nothing. Slogans, pure slogans, that's all. Okay. I challenge you, Anwar, to a debate. You and me. You tell me. You can take 1 hour, explain your vision. How you bring our country forward post Mahathir. All I need, right, is 50 questions to cross-examine you. I don't need to give speeches. I'm going to show you, I'll tear you to pieces. And expose the shallowness of your thinking, your strategy. The fact that you have suffered imprisonment doesn't entitle you, as of right, to a Prime Minister. Nelson Mandela spent almost 27 years in prison. He never, in the course of his incarceration, in the fight by ANC for power, that he told his comrades, right, in prison, I shall be the president. He didn't even know he would be released. He thought he would die in prison. Even then, the people respected him because he has proven himself. That's not because he suffered in prison. But his stature, his intellectual capabilities, that made him a leader. And he just struck like a peacock. Read his autobiography, then you will know more. So, Anwar, you can't lead the country if you can't lead your party. Let me tell you an honest truth. Your worst enemies are not from UMNO or PAS. Your worst enemy is not what you perceived, right? That Tun Mahathir will not let you succeed. Your worst enemies are those within your inner circle and in the hierarchy, top leadership, who don't have the guts to tell in your face, Anwar, you're not ready to succeed. Have humility, eat humble pie, and learn once again, because you have lost touch with government. You have lost touch. Don't take oratory, rhetoric to get you anywhere. It got you nowhere. Okay? Nowhere. In the general election and in the by-election. Tun Mahathir, sir, you cannot just rest on the fact that you have defeated Najib. You must now bring 2 persons with assurance to the public, to Malaysia, to everyone. They will be with me until I retire, so I can deliver the country in good hands, whoever the good hands may be. And I have said many times before, and I told you personally on the 9th of May, bringing Tun Dai and Tan Sri Rafida Aziz. Bring them into the cabinet now and get rid of whoever's not efficient in Bersatu. Okay? And ask them, please, take a back seat for a while and let 2 senior leaders come into the cabinet. And you learn from them. They don't own a seat. in the cabinet. Tun Mahathir, Rafida, and Tun Dan. If he could negotiate ECRL and reduce substantially the cost of that railway, that shows his capabilities. Otherwise, why would you send him as an envoy? If he can do that outside government, how much more he can do to give integrity, robustness, strength, resilience to the cabinet, and confidence. Likewise, Rafida. What is lacking now is confidence in your government. I have to say this, right, Tun? You have to fear. You don't have to fear anymore. Last time you be fear. Someone will overshadow you. This is the second time you're Prime Minister. You should have brilliant minds at your side, right and left, to bolster you, to support you, to watch your back. Most important, to watch your back. So that most people who are sharpening the knives cannot do the dastardly deed behind your back. And then the whisperers, the cowdungs, the overrated, underused, right, underutilized, right, scumbags, cannot sabotage your administration. This is your last chance, if I may say so. Last chance. If you fail to revamp the cabinet, don't worry about PKR, Amanah, or Deep AP. Don't have to change them. What you have to change is Bersatu. Whoever is a minister can be sacrificed for a time being, and you can understand that. Before I conclude, sir, you recall, before the election, you had so much problems with the Pakatan Harapan parties. They cornered you, they humiliated you, all kinds of things. You were alone. You recall, sir, in a meeting in PLF in your office, I said in very simple terms, I said, Tun, you cannot be a commander-in-chief when you don't have your own army. The other three armies won't give a shit or follow your orders because the DAP army will listen to Lim Kit Siang as the commander. Amanah will listen to Mat Sabu as the commander, while they respect you. And PKR will listen to the commander Anwar in prison. You remember that, sir? The moment you have your own army, even though they respect you as a former Prime Minister, you will be the ultimate commander-in-chief and you will lead. Did we not have this discussion too? And thereafter, you gave birth to Bersatu. Recall that, sir. How many people know about that, sir? And that was the checkmate to that unruly coalition. You wanted to form a coalition without having a party, but a sheer will of resilience, intellect. But we agreed, right, as a matter of pragmatic politics, you must have your own army, no matter how small that is. Your guerrilla unit could compete with the conventional army of DAP, PKR, and Amanah. Because why? They don't have the experience governing. Not even Anwar Ibrahim when he was the Deputy Prime Minister. He was out of touch for 20 years. And so the small band of people around you was sufficient to give you a platform and say, I have my own army. If you don't like it, we will go on our own. And that was a turning point, wasn't it, sir? But reality is that army now is in power, part of the coalition, but not strong enough to go to the next level of excellence. At the next level of excellence, sir, you must have a right arm and a left arm In football, right wing, left wing. And air combat, same thing, the wingman, to cut your back and lead the charge. Though your party may be small, you'll be like the SAS, the Green Beret, Special Forces. You go in, you sapu your enemies, then they come behind you. You lack that, sir. This is the last chance, sir, I'm telling you, sir. It's much regret that I have to say this to you. I'm not advising you or telling you. You know me better than that, right? For 20 over years, you know that I don't shut down your throat. You will also recall in my first interview with you as a Prime Minister, you asked me what would be my approach in serving you as a political secretary. I said, very simple, sir. In practice, I have so many clients, multinational, corporate, whatever, earn big fees. And my principle is, give the best advice to my client, the pros and cons. There you are, client, take it or leave it. And be paid the fee. If they take it, they win the case. If they don't take it, they go to any other lawyer. I've done my duty with a clear conscience and I move on without any stress. Therefore, I told you, sir, now I have only one client, you, sir. I give my best advice to you, the pros and cons, and by conclusion, if you take it, you succeed, you get all the kudos. If you throw it away in the basket as your right, and cause other people, that's your right too. Because if you fail, you get hammering. But so far, we have not failed. We have not failed. Because you have other advisors who approach the same way as I did. The best advice, pros and cons, objectively. Why, sir? Because I don't have a party to answer to another boss. Every political secretary in the coalition has to answer to the president. They need to have undivided loyalty to the office of the Prime Minister. Whatever advice, you will agree with me, sir. If it's a PKR advice, it will some way also benefit PKR, DAP Amanah, while also affecting all the country's economy or political landscape. But it will be a biased advice, somewhat. To get a truly objective advice, it's very hard to get. Those people are totally independent, objective. To conclude, sir, you have won many battles. But all the battles you fought are with people who are hungry, greedy for power. And because of the skills, right, to maneuver, they've all been defeated. There's no defeat, winning or losing, when you're dealing with people who are not members of any party, who have no greed or lust for power, who wants justice to prevail, truth to prevail. I've told you many times, sir, before the election, no more battles anymore. I'm retiring. My family comes first. But I still have a duty to my country. That's why I'll offer my opinions and my criticisms. And I know deep in your heart, despite the whisperings, I hope you have the strength and the determination to do the very best for the country, and that you will lay the groundwork for the future leaders to take over where you left. Not necessarily Anwar. Because Anwar must prove himself all over again. Like the parties in England. After a leader has retired. No other way, sir. Because you have to remember, sir, and you have said many times, everyone you chose as your deputy turned out to be screwed up. Failed you or betrayed you. After he took power. But David took power, betrayed you. In more ways than one. Najib took power, betrayed you. That is the paradigm and realities of the power play. And so far, you have not been able to groom a successor. You can't groom by yourself. A system must be in place. A system, the environment must be in place for the shoots to grow into a beautiful plant and bloom. You can't but graft it. And the only people that can help you create a system for a wonderful, successful future is Rafizi Aziz and Tundai. To help what people say. Why are you worried about plot? They can't touch you. They won't succeed, like you said. You think they can do it? Pakatan Harapan people can do it? If they are part of that plot? No way. You know why? They'll be infected with a disease. Addiction to power. The instant taste of power. Hopefully, they will go deeper into addiction and turn like Najib. It's for you to guide them. But you must see ahead, 20 years from now, where will this country be? You can't do it alone, sir. Please. And it's very sad to hear from people now. Oh, yo, Adoy! If Mahathir dies, what happens? That is a very insidious thinking, sir. No one is indispensable, not even you, sir. If you don't prepare the system, you die. Or something happens to you, you know what happens? Chaos. And you have to blame because you fail to create an environment and lay down a system for the future success of our country. And therefore, in conclusion, if I have to say it again, I don't mind saying, I beg you, please bring Rafizi Aziz and Tundai to be your right or left hand, whichever way you want to put them. Triangulation, sir, the strategy of triangulation. All sides are protected. Your right flank, left flank, front and back, all protected. Then you can have confidence. Why should you fear Rafizi or Tundai taking over? They told you they won't have to. But you need them. On that, I thank all of you for your attention, and I hope this video speech has gone too long will open your eyes as to what we need to do in the future. God bless you. Have absolute faith in Allah that He protect, defend us, and guide us in all circumstances. And surrender to His will unconditionally. Thank you and have a good day.